a shuffled deck, a randomly selected number, and a randomly selected card that will match your prediction every single time. This is simple but brilliant. This is CoachTrick. Not only does this effect seem totally impossible, it's a self-working marvel, can be performed with a shuffle deck and requires no prior setup. It's a trick that's guaranteed to blow minds. As ever, stick with us until the end as we reflect on the wider life benefits of learning magic. Okay, let's jump into it. Grab a deck and let's go. Okay, as ever, let's kickstart by taking a look at the effect itself. This is a prediction that's so straightforward, it just seems utterly inexplicable. And here's what happens. We're going to start with a shuffle deck, so you can just hand the deck to the spectator and you can ask them to give it a shuffle. You can then give it a shuffle yourself or just a couple of cuts, whichever you feel like. The cards really are mixed. So you're going to start just by looking through the deck with a view to finding a prediction card. And this is just where you're going to look for a card that stands out. Yeah, I don't think any of those cards. Just a card that you have a good feeling about. Again, I don't think any of those cards. But I do think maybe this card just here. This feels like it could be a good one. So I'm going to remove this card as my prediction card. And I'm going to place that onto the table over here where it will stay. You're now going to give the deck to the spectator and you're just going to ask them to cut a small number of cards from the top of the deck. Not a big number, a small number helps you focus better, but it really is a free choice. It can be any number. So let's say they cut off this amount of cards just here. Ask them to keep those cards hidden so that nobody can possibly know how many cards they have. You're now going to take the deck and you're going to deal some cards face up in a row on the table, just like so, to provide some cards for the spectator to choose from. So that feels like that's a good number of cards just there. You can now place these cards aside and ask the spectator to take the pack that they cut from the top of the deck. You can emphasize there's absolutely no way that you or anybody else can know how many cards they have. So for the first time, ask the spectator to count their cards. So in this instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The spectator cut 12 cards from the deck, and you're now going to ask them to use this number in order to select a card. So you're going to ask them, starting at the end of the row here, just to count along 12 cards. 12, remember, being their number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that brings us to this card just here, the Jack of Hearts. You can gather up the rest of the cards and you can bring in your prediction card and we can recap exactly what's happened. From a shuffled deck, you removed a single prediction card. The spectator then cut a random number of cards from the top of the deck. There's no way that you or anybody else could have known that number. They then use that number in order to select a card of their own. This card just here, the Jack of Hearts. All that's left to do now is to reveal the miracle that your prediction card, selected before the trick had even begun, just so happens to be an exact match for the spectator's card, the other red Jack, the Jack of Diamonds. This prediction just seems to defy explanation, but it's actually super simple to perform. So stick around because now I will show you exactly how it works. Okay, so let's take a look at the secret to this prediction. You really do start with a shuffled deck, and that's what adds to the impact. The first thing you're going to do is to look through the deck in order to find a prediction card. And in doing so, you're going to do a couple of things. Firstly, you're just going to note the bottom card here, so we can see the 9 of clubs. And you're going to move this card so that it's 21st from the top. But the other thing you're going to do is look for the corresponding card to that. So in this instance, the other black 9, the 9 of spades, which is up here. And this is the card that you're going to remove from the deck as your prediction card. So in order to move the 9 of clubs then to be 21st from the top, you're simply going to count off small batches of cards. The first batch being 11 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And you'll do that silently just in the act of looking for a prediction card. You'll say you don't think the card is there, and you'll place this pack on top of the deck. You'll then count off a second batch of 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, say you don't think the card is there, and place this pack on top of the deck. The 9 of clubs is now the 21st card from the top. You now just continue to look for the corresponding 9, which will be your prediction card. Now, if this card just happens to be in the cards that you count and move to the top of the deck, then you just need to count an extra card in one of the batches, so that when you remove this card, the other corresponding black 9, the 9 of clubs, will still be 21st from the top. So I'll now remove this card as my prediction card and place it on the table to the side. The spectator really can now cut off a random number of cards from the top of the deck. It just needs to be less than 21 cards though, so say something like a small number helps you focus better. But it really is a free choice, so let's say they cut this number of cards off here and ask them to keep those hidden. Now you're going to take the deck and you're going to deal a row, starting from your right, of face-up cards on the table like so. And you're going to deal exactly 20 cards. Now you're going to count silently, but once you get to 20, just say that that feels like a good number. You're now going to ask the spectator to take their pack of cards and count the number of cards that they have. So in this instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're going to emphasize that really is a random number. You'll now ask the spectator to use that number to count 10 cards in, starting from their right, which is the opposite end from which you started dealing. So starting from their right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that takes us to this card, the 9 of clubs. You can then bring in your prediction card and reveal the miracle that just so happens to be an exact match for the spectator's selection. In this instance, the other black 9, the 9 of spades. And there you have it, a prediction that's as baffling as it is easy to perform. Practicing and performing can significantly boost your confidence, not just in magic, but in all areas of life. So take the confidence you develop from learning magic and tackle wider challenges with poise and assurance. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, keep on believing and take care.